Good morning everybody. I am Dr. Suma Embar, Associate Professor of English, Government First Grade College, Uvempunaga, Mysore. This is a video on the beautiful poem You Start Dying Slowly by Pablo Neruda. This poem has been prescribed for the Language English course of the second semester BCom BBA programs of the CBCS syllabus of the University of Mysore. This is Pablo Neruda. Here is a famous quote by him. A quote, "You can cut all the flowers, but you cannot keep spring from coming." Unquote. Let's know a bit about who the poet was. Pablo Neruda was the national poet of Chile, South America. He was a Nobel Prize winner. He also received many international awards. He joined Communist Party. He was with leftist ideologies. He also participated in political and labor movements. He was a very active person in his life, culturally enriching his country as well as politically inspiring the ideologies. He was the voice of the poor people. He stood for them. He fought for the laborers and their rights. He fought for the independence of Chile from American capitalistic government and agenda. Later, he became the advisor to the Chilean president, Salvador Allende. He, in the later stages of his life, suffered from cancer. He died after being discharged from the hospital, just 4 days after his discharge. People of Chile loved him so much that they gave him a grand funeral. Neruda has written many poems, biographies, articles, and political writings in Spanish language, English, and French. Now let's go through the poem. Let's just try to take the layout first. In the poem, we start dying slowly. The speaker addresses an imaginary person, you. This you can be anybody or the individual to whom the speaker describes his life's philosophy. This poem has 5 stanzas. Each stanza starts with, "You start dying slowly." The remaining sentences in each stanza describe the situations when we die slowly. So all the 5 stanzas follow similar pattern. Here, to die slowly doesn't mean the death of the body, but the slow death of the inner spirit of a human being. The poet uses a warning tone. We all die slowly if we do not do or have certain things or activities or values in life. The death of the physical life happens in 1 second. We all die. We know how death comes. But the death of our spirit or soul makes us die slowly throughout our life. Neruda had travelled widely. He had a lot of experiences which taught him the value of life. This is reflected in the theme of the poem. The simple language of the poem is conversational. The speaker uses informal words to communicate ideas intimately. It is like a monologue. He is speaking to an imaginary person who can be anybody. Now let's look at the first stanza. Here, according to the poet, we die slowly if we do not read or travel or listen to the sounds of life or have self-acceptance. It means a person should love life, like reading books, traveling, listening. These are all everyday things and everyday activities. If we don't do them, we shall die inside. This stanza points out the importance of enjoying the simple experiences or focusing on developing our thoughts. Reading and traveling makes us grow as human beings. Similarly, we should not feel bad about our own personality. Most of us are dissatisfied with our own lives or our personality. But if we don't accept our limitations, we cannot appreciate life. That means we are dying inside by always thinking of ourselves and ignoring the world. Most of the times we are preoccupied with ourselves that we don't notice what is happening in the outside world. In the second stanza, a person is equal to a dead person. The poet says, if he has no self-esteem or self-respect, a person without self-respect has no meaningful identity. We should believe in our own capacity. If we don't believe in ourselves or if we don't have self-respect, who else will respect us? On the other hand, we must not have too much of self-ego. Our ego stops us from being humble. We refuse to take others' help. We may think that we are great or superior to others. Then also we will die slowly. Both these observations mean that we must have a balanced view of ourselves. Thinking too low or too high of ourselves makes us lose touch with the world outside. In the third stanza, he explains the dangers of a routine life. If we walk on same paths, that is, doing the same thing repeatedly, it makes us bored. Our imagination will die. We will lose our interest in life and we will hesitate to explore new things. Doing the same things again and again, taking the same paths, or if we don't wear different colored dress or not talk to unknown people, all these indicate that we have lost the joy of learning new things in life. How many strange people have you talked to today? Can you tell me? Simple actions make us happy. To understand life and live meaningfully, we should also know how others live, the poet indicates. In the fourth stanza, the poet emphasizes that we die slowly if we avoid to feel passion. According to him, passion means deep feelings and emotions. We die slowly if we don't shed tears of joy or sorrow. If our heart is not excited by any emotion, if we avoid any emotion that makes our heart beat fast, then we are dying slowly. A person without emotion is a dead person. We should not hide our emotions. Emotions make us human and keep us alive. In this stanza, the poet is talking about the importance of human emotions. Without them, our life becomes just mechanical. In the last stanza, the poet points out that change is the main feature of life. We should change our job or love when we are not satisfied with it, or else we die slowly doing things which make us unhappy. If you don't like your job, you should leave it. Or if you don't like a person, if you don't love the person anymore, leave that person. That is the suggestion given by the poet. We should take risks in life by doing uncertain things. Most of us are scared to take risks. Living a safe life may make us die slowly because our enthusiasm will die. We should go in search of dreams, new jobs, new experiences. Sometimes we have to run away from sensible advice. Probably Neruda is making fun of sensible advice, but he is quite serious about the advantages of it. Sensible advice may come from family, friends, or society. They may be good, but will not make our life happy. Advices are always good for us, but sometimes we should ignore them to go in search of our dreams, which may be wild, crazy, or not sensible at all. Thus, taking risks sometimes makes us feel alive. Let's conclude. The whole poem is about the real meaning of life. Dying slowly means not living meaningfully. This poem is philosophical. It indicates the difference between real dying physically and dying slowly. The poet or the speaker addresses the whole mankind. Each stanza has two parts. One part says we will die slowly. That is the consequence based on the second part. That is, if we do or don't do certain things, our actions or inactions in life. Thank you. If you need any clarifications or any answers for questions, here is my email address. You can email to me. Thank you once again.